Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time checking in, please click that subscribe button down below for future videos, and remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be unboxing and installing the S&B Filters Cold Air Intake on our 2015 GMC Sierra. See the link in the description below for more information. So we'll set all the gaskets and hoses off to the side for the time being and get into the meat and potatoes. Here we have the airbox, which is enormous. Also has the additional cut into the bottom for additional airflow. Here you have your air tube. And some clamps we'll set off to the side. Now here you have your air filter. This is huge. This is about the size of my forearm. This thing has to have twice the area of the K&N air filter I had in my factory airbox. So now we'll go ahead with the installation, and the first step is always disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. And next we will disconnect the mass airflow sensor, and I'm using this DeWalt screwdriver. I've been using this thing on everything. I have beaten the crap out of this thing and it just keeps on going. I absolutely love it and highly recommend it. I've thrown a link in the description below for that as well. So we'll just go ahead and disconnect the mass airflow sensor and set that off for safekeeping, and just set that inside the truck for now. And then next we will undo the clamp attaching the factory air tube onto the factory airbox and just disconnect that. Then we will also disconnect it from the throttle body. We will remove both crankcase hoses. And now we can go ahead and remove the resonator box and set that off to the side. This will not be used in the new setup. There's a little plastic clip holding in the wiring harness for the mass airflow sensor. Just remove that from the factory airbox. This is a ballast for my aftermarket HID headlights, which came from the retrofit source. So I have to pull this off. This is a step that most people will not need to do, but this is a great place to mount that ballast should you use that kit. And once I have that removed and track down this rogue zip tie, I can go ahead and push that crossbar out of the way for now. It will need to be removed eventually. You could do it at this point. I just pushed it out of the way and went ahead and removed the factory airbox as it just pulls straight up and out. And then we will remove the factory mounting plate. Now to fit the S&B airbox, you will need to remove this crossbar, so we'll go ahead and do that at this point. And now we can go ahead and push that airbox in. And once you have it in place, you can bolt it down. The next step is going to be to install the air filter. We'll remove the plastic and fit that down in. You just want to make sure that it has a tight seal around that opening. The next step is going to be fitting the silicone couplings onto the air tube along with the clamps and get that all roughed in. And then we'll go ahead and we'll install the mounting plate for the mass airflow sensor along with the gasket. And now we can install our mass airflow sensor. The next step is going to be to fit the air tube in its place. This is something that requires just a little bit of finesse on both ends. You want to make sure that it's in position before you tighten everything down, but you do want to make sure that these clamps are nice and snug so that no air gets in around it, bypassing your filter. Once you've tightened everything down, just kind of give it a good shake, make sure everything looks like it's all nice and secure, and then you can go ahead and reattach your wiring harness to your mass airflow sensor. Next, we will take these factory hoses off the crankcase and replace them with the rubber hoses that came with the S&B kit, along with the clamps, and then we will tighten this all down in place as well. And this next piece is exactly why I went with this S&B kit over any of the competitors, as I love this plexiglass cover for the purposes of just hosing down the engine bay and keeping things clean, keeps water out of the filter from the top end, and ultimately just gives it a really nice finished look with an inspection window to always be able to check your filter. So you just put this rubber gasket around the outside, and then it just sits in here real nice. They come with 4 little screws with some rubber grommets. Just tightens everything down. You do not want to over tighten this, as you can crack plexiglass relatively easily, but this doesn't have to be extremely tight anyhow. Just kind of snug it down, and now we can reconnect our negative battery terminal. At this point, we will fire the truck up and just kind of make sure everything is nice and tight and see how it sounds. And with everything working properly, we can go ahead and just button everything else up. Now, I'll be testing this over the next few days here, and I will be putting out a video on what I think about the performance. I have put 30 miles on this so far, and I have to say that it does seem as if it wakes this motor up a bit. It does give it a little more pep and response. So thank you very much for watching. Please click that subscribe button down below. A like goes a long way to help support the channel, and we will see you next time.